Hey everybody, Life's Journey of 50 here. So I thought I'd bring this topic up, as you can tell by the thumbnail, talking about the industry and what's been going on. And the reason why I wanted to do this is recently here in the Cincinnati market, we've lost 3 dealerships. We lost Triumph, Ducati, and one of the Indian dealerships. And you know, I'm assuming that there might be one or two others that are probably struggling as well, but at least that's here in this market. So, and I wanted to talk a little bit about just the industry for 2025 and my perspective and just some of the numbers that I looked up and did a little research on. But so the overall total US is down 9.2% versus prior year. So basically down 10%. And that's a pretty big number when you think about it for the market in general. Now, a lot of contributing factors, and this is not a political thing. It's just that you've had economic headwinds for the last 3 to 4 years. Coming into the new administration, you've had a complete different strategy. And, you know, money was readily available back then. Interest rates were lower. Things are, you know, have just kind of skyrocketed over those last 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years. And we're living in a time where, you know, there's not a lot of dollars out into the marketplace, especially like financing options. So you've got higher financing charges. You've got potential, some bikes have some tariffs, some don't. I won't even get into the tariff thing. So some bikes have not been hit by the tariffs, some have. Again, and you just have economic pressures that are contributing, I think, to a lot of this inflation, you know, just the average household and what their expenditures are. So, and let's all face it, motorcycles are realistically kind of a nice to have, right? I mean, most people have to have a car, got to have a roof over their head, food, all the other stuff, taking care of their families or whatever. And usually a motorcycle ends up being something as an extra, a fun, you know, something fun in the budget. So a lot of that stuff has gone by the wayside. You guys have probably seen, I mean, there's a ton of bikes on Marketplace. There's, you know, all over. Depreciated value, depreciated assets, as they would call them. The values are just not there, even on BMWs, Harleys, all those things. You know, once you sign in and on the dotted line, or once you buy, especially a new bike, it's just like any other asset, especially, you know, like a car, it depreciates real quick. So some brands hold their, you know, value. Again, BMW normally does, but even there, like I said, they're down. So, you know, with a couple of dealerships, you know, like I said, 3 dealerships going on in Cincinnati, I thought it would be a good time to just talk about the industry in general and kind of what's going on. And again, there's just so many options, but, you know, just off the top of my head, I kind of picked about, you know, 10 different manufacturers. So total US, and this is just US numbers. This is not global. So just if you're one of my subscribers from overseas, internationally, I apologize, but I pulled the US numbers because I was having this conversation with a couple of dealers that I deal with, where one of them is down just alone about 30%. The other one's down about 22%, and they're pretty top dealers, you know, in the country. So BMW's down over 11%. Honda's down 8%. Harley-Davidson is down 24%. So you can imagine those numbers. KTM's down almost 24% as well. So, you know, just think about those brands right there. BMW, Honda, Harley, KTM, all basically double-digit down. Honda's 8%. So pretty big numbers. Suzuki's down 13.7. So again, a lot of big name brands are taking a beating. And again, these are luxury, you know, a lot of these are luxury items. Now, flip side of that, Kawasaki is the share leader. I think they have almost 19% of the marketplace. Kawasaki's actually up 14%. Now, a lot of that's driven by the KLX, KLR, the Ninja. So Kawasaki's actually had a pretty good year, and it's stabilized at 11% down for the U.S. market. Aprilia is up 28.5. Now, again, smaller base. So if you got numbers that increase there, it's going to help, obviously, your percentages. But they're up 28.5. I mean, that's helped by the Tuareg, the Tonneau, all that good stuff. Now, there was no numbers for the Triumph. Now, globally, last year, they were up 44%. I've heard they were up anywhere from 12 to 13% US, but it's weird because, again, our Cincinnati Triumph dealer folded here. So I think the closest one we have now is up in Columbus, Ohio, at Moto, Ohio. So again, there you go. Ducati, there was no numbers available that I could find. Now, I don't know, what's going on there. Another luxury brand, so I don't know. Yamaha was basically flat, down 0.4. So I call that relatively flat on sales. So again, another large brand, not really driving, helping out the numbers. So Indian was up almost 5% at 4.9. Again, Suzuki down 13.7. And then Royal Enfield, the number I got globally, they were up 17%. So, again, Royal Enfield, and obviously they've had a lot of sales here in the U.S. So I got a feeling that, again, smaller base, not as big globally. They're probably up in that high single, low double-digit number as well here in the U.S. But you think about these. Now, KTM, right? I mean, they're down 24, 25%. Now, that's probably a little bit to be expected. They had excess inventory. They are getting themselves through, obviously, got through some bankruptcy. They just got purchased the other day out of that. So a lot of things are happening at KTM. That are going to probably help turn around those numbers for them. Harley down 24%. I mean, big American brand, right? Personally, if you're not, I think Harley obviously is going through a big transition. They got a new CEO. And that probably was a big thing because the last CEO really went away from kind of a lot of the heritage of the Harley, folks and stuff like that. And I know Harley folks get get beat up against all the other brands and stuff like that, but they're significant to the U.S. market, U.S. heritage. Like to see them do well, but you think about that. You buy a CVO now, and it's like $45,000, $50,000, right? That's not chump change, and I know that they've been trying to get bikes into the marketplace for $10,000, $15,000 to get younger riders, a new generation in there. They have not fully embraced the Pan America, which now in some markets, if you watch my videos, or if you're a subscriber to my channel, there's a lot of people that ride Pan Americas, White Lightning out of Chattanooga, Missouri. There's just a lot of places that do well with the Pan America. But here in Cincinnati, as a BDR ambassador, I've tried to get Harley-Davidson to get involved with the BDR. And they're a sponsor, like corporate, Harley is a sponsor. 4 dealerships in the Cincinnati area didn't even care about the BDR. As a matter of fact, a couple of them didn't even carry a Pan America. So I think there's still a cultural thing there that they have some opportunity to drive some incremental sales through the Pan America. And again, they're figuring out their whole road glides and street glides and all that stuff. And again, I'm not a Harley person, never owned one. But I think, never want to see a company like that, especially an American company, kind of falter there. BMW. So, down 11%. So think about those numbers as well. And they came out with the new 1300s, right? So there's been obviously some things with the 1300 that haven't been great, and there's some things that are great about it, right? There has been some issues with the 1300s. But again, it's a luxury item. I mean, I have a 21 GSA. I've got a 23 GS, both 1250s. I've had numerous offers to get out of both bikes, get the new models. again, one of the reasons why I don't have a new model, I'm still not sold. I got a lot of friends that, oh, you got to get into it. It's a great bike, blah, blah, blah. I trust them. I believe them. I'm just not, I did not like my experience on one. But look at the deals that they're offering. I mean, I was in Florida recently, and a dealer offered $3,000 off plus the 0% financing from BMW, which means right now they're doing $2,000 off, you know, or you get the 0%. This dealership was willing to do $3,000 off and 0%. So think about, this is a 1300 GSA, and them wanting to do deals like that on there. I've had, you know, dealer invoice offers, and I just, you know, haven't done. I mean, I've got an F900, I've got the two 1250s. I'm pretty good on that. But yeah, people are wanting to move inventory, and again, you know, it's also a soft market. So if you're gonna get rid of your bikes or whatever, you know, I ride them hard, as you guys know. I mean, I'm you know, not that they're not taken care of. They are serviced, they are done. I fix them, whatever. If something goes wrong, I get them fixed. That is one thing that I do on my bikes, that they are kept up with the maintenance and kept up with everything to make sure that they're nice. But again, just the value of them, though, because I ride them off road and everything like that, you know, you can take a hit on that in the resale in the resale market. I just thought it was interesting to talk about motorcycles and how much they're down, and kind of the macroeconomic pressures that are going on just for consumers in general, right? And again, I talked a little bit about that, but yeah, when you're seeing brands like BMW, Honda, Harley, KTM, and again, we know the issues with KTM, you know, Suzuki down 13%. I mean, those are pretty big numbers on some pretty big brands that are important in the U.S. market area. So it is, you know, pretty wild. Now, Kawasaki's up 14%. Why do we think that is? Well, you know, they always talk about Honda being bulletproof with what they have, but they're down 8%. But Kawasaki, I mean, you think about the KLR and the KLX and stuff like that, those things are pretty bulletproof. And I've never ridden one. Everybody kind of makes fun of the KLR or whatever. But if you saw some videos from Adam Ryman recently, you know, he got on what he called the donkey and rode it through Australia and absolutely loved it and bought one for himself. So it's a workhorse and it gets the job done. So do you need all the, you know, razzmatazz where you can get bikes under $10,000 under, you know, and get them fully decked out for under 10 grand versus buying something that like a new GS for 25, 30. And then you still, if you ride off road, you've still got to put, you know, some armor stuff that I call on it and switch the bike up and do some extra thing, which could cost you another $1,500, $2,000. And so, yeah, so I thought it was interesting to talk a little bit about the U.S. market on motorcycles being down 9.2% and just some of the impact that's going on economically, and just really concerning that, you know, we had 3 dealerships fold. We had a Harley dealership transfer ownership here in the marketplace. And then, you know, I've just heard other stories of other dealerships kind of, you know, folding shop. Plus, if you walk into a lot of your dealers right now, depending on who they are, there's a lot of inventory sitting on the floor. And, you know, people wanting to make moves and move bikes out and everything else. I was just talking to the KTM dealer in our marketplace here, and they have a 224s. They got a 24 Norden 901 Expedition, the blue one, which I think is probably the best scheme I've seen, paint scheme I've seen in the years I've been doing this, for 12.3, brand new. And the same thing for 890 Adventure R, 12.3. And granted, they're 24 models, but they're brand new. And you know, normally they're $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 for those bikes. So you're talking, you know, discounted pricing on those. So lot of opportunity. If you've got the money and you've got the means to do it, well, now is a perfect time as a buyer to hit that marketplace and maybe pick yourself up a nice bike for a relatively decent price. I tend to be positive. There are a lot of bikes out here too. I think that's another thing too, is that you have so many options now. I actually think the consumers are overwhelmed with options. I mean, I talked to Ian. I've told you this before. I'm connection and friends with Ian from Big Rock Moto, and you know, look at the content he's putting out on bikes all the time. Look how many bikes he goes through just in general. So there's even, you know, there's so many options. I didn't even bring up the CF Motos and all these other brands that are coming out. I didn't even bring up Moto Guzzi, none of that stuff. And there's just a lot out there. And I think it's hard for a normal consumer to figure out, where do I put my money? And what kind of riding am I going to do? And I think those are the questions you really have to ask yourself. Like, you know, what's my budget? What am I actually going to be doing with the bike to begin with, right? Am I going to be touring? Am I going to be more off-road than touring? Am I going to be 50-50? You know, what kind of setup am I going to need on the bike, right? Because, again, most of these bikes come with the factory tires, which are normally street tires. And if you're riding off-road, that means more investment in tires and you know, bar risers, foot pegs, skid plates, all the other stuff that goes on with these bikes. And they can get pricey real quick. So again, this is where I talk about, you know, financially, what makes sense for you as a consumer. But if you have cash and this is one of these times where it's like the stock market, where you get an opportunity to buy low and take advantage of some of these deals that are out. Hope this was helpful, give you a little bit of insight. If you can, one, obviously hit that like, subscribe, notification button. I greatly appreciate it. I'm getting close to 4,000, which is, to me, is fantastic. Really appreciate everything that you guys do. And then the other thing is put comments down below if in your marketplace, if you've seen dealers collapse, or you've seen what kind of deals you're seeing out there in your market. I just think that this is a funky time in the industry, and you know, a lot of these things that we have in the motorcycles are, you know, wants, not needs, right? Like, we want a new motorcycle, we want a motorcycle so we can go have fun and hang out with our friends and go to rallies, do all this stuff. But do we sometimes need it? You know, it's a nice to have, and trust me, I've got 4 motorcycles. Again, I've always said I'm very fortunate to be in this situation, but at the end of the day, I could fill up this garage with the offers that I've had, you know, on a couple of different bikes, almost, you know, bid a couple of times on it, but I'm good where I'm at right now. I'm going to see how things kind of shake out. Definitely going to get a 450 whenever they get here from BMW, so that's already kind of locked and loaded. But we'll see. Like I said, crazy market. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys soon, and off to the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.